Good morning everyone. Today we're going to be talking about how to make Meseta, or at least how I make Meseta. As the old saying goes, give a man a fish and he eats for a day, but teach a man how to fish and he can feed himself indefinitely. But before we start talking about philosophy, if you're new to the channel, I upload NGS content daily, so if you do play this game, I would really appreciate a subscribe as it really helps out the channel. Anyway, without further ado, let's begin the video. Alright, the very first step towards you becoming a bajillionaire is understanding the market. What you want to do is you want to spend time and invest your time to farm things that other people don't want to farm, because that is how the market works. As there is more demand and less supply, the prices go up. However, if there's more supply than the demand, then the prices go down. So now you know how it works in theory. How do we put this into practicality? It's actually very simple. When we talk to the personal shop staff, this menu is going to open, and it just so happens that we can see the top sellers. So over here, there are certain items as a free-to-play you're never going to get. So for example, Motion Glide Wing Spread. The only way to obtain this is through the scratch, and as a free-to-play, well, we don't, we're free-to-play, so we can't do the scratch. So what is the next best thing? You can see the second most best-selling item is Strugment Cs. Now these are average prices. Please make sure to actually click in to see the current prices. So you can see current prices. There's a whole bunch of them being sold at 53,000, even though it says here that the average price is 65,000. So please make sure that you actually click in, see what the prices are going for right now, and use your best judgment on whether it's worth your time or not. So let's say, for example, we have decided to go with Strugment Cs. We're like, all right, we're going to go farm a bunch of Strugment Cs. We're going to throw them on the market and make a bunch of money. So you just go off to Resol Forest, because that is the place that drops the most Strugment Cs, and you just farm your brains out. And then once you get a bunch of Strugment Cs, throw them on the market and make your money. However, if you don't like Resol Forest, well, don't worry, you can farm at any of the other combat zones. So you can go to Vanford Laboratories or even Mount Magnus if you want, and still have a chance of getting Strugments A, B, and C, and you can throw all of those on the market if you want. But Strugment C is the one that is going for the most money. Now, let's say that you're not a combat zone person, because I know there's a lot of people that don't like combat zones. Well, then what you can do is look at the next best thing. The Balloon Blossom, unfortunately, that is an AC scratch item. Dance 67 is also an AC scratch item. Deftness 3, how much is Deftness 3 going for? 82,000. So again, please make sure to click in, because it says average price 78,000, but we can see that the current prices are going for 82,000 to 84, and it rises significantly very quickly actually. So maybe Deftness 3 is something you can consider. If you guys want to know how to farm Deftness 3, I have two videos on it. One is like a solo farm, and the second one is a group farm. The group farm is going to be more efficient. However, you will need people around like 17 people or above in order to fully maximize the group farming method. So I will leave both videos in the description below. So we can continue on to the next page over here. We've got Gion armors, Grius armors, as well as the new armor that drops from Dark Falls. We're going to go next again, and we are looking for mainly capsules, simply because they stack on top of each other and they're just easier to sell. The Alt Secreta 3 average price is 155,000. We look at the prices over here, it's 129, 130,000. It's good money. So we can see, oh, maybe we should farm for Alt Secreta 3. And it just so happens that Al Noth drops a lot of Alt Secreta 3s. However, if you want to farm other combat zones, let's say that you're farming for Strugment Bs and Cs as well, well, it's okay, because Vanford Laboratories and Resol Forest also drop Alt Secreta 3. Now, please don't forget, you can actually upgrade your Alt Secreta 2s to Alt Secreta 3s. So if you're like me and you have a lot of Alt Secreta 2s, you can come to the item lab over here, go to exchange materials, and go to augment capsules. Right here, we're simply going to type in Alt and Alt Secreta 3. You can exchange 10 Alt Secreta 2s plus 10 Photon Quartz plus 10 Tetrasite in order to make one Alt Secreta 3. However, if you're like me and you have thousands of Alt Secreta 2s, you can make a pretty penny by exchanging them all into Alt Secreta 3s and throwing them onto the market. Now we have to talk about Dreadkeeper 3. Average price 533,000. We click in it and you can see it's going for 570,000 per capsule. This is your big ticket item. Once you get a single Dreadkeeper 3, you've made a crap ton of Meseta, And so this is the one where I'm going to spend the most time explaining the strategy on what I do in order to farm for Dreadkeeper 3s, because I personally think farming for Dreadkeeper 3s is the best way to make money. However, of course, it depends on what you enjoy. If you really don't like hunting veterans, then you know, this obviously isn't going to be for you, because you're going to burn yourself out. You're going to get really bored with the game after like 2-3 hours, and you're going to be like, I don't want to farm anymore because this sucks. So if you don't like farming for veterans, don't use this method. Use the alt Secreta method, or even use the Strugment methods. Just make sure that the process of making money is fun and enjoyable for you. If you're not enjoying the process itself and you're just like dreading every single moment of it, it's not worth it, because you're going to need to invest many hours in order to make Meseta. It's not like this 1 hour thing and it's only boom, you're bajillionaire. It doesn't work like that. Unless of course you get like super lucky and you get like, you know, 30 Dreadkeeper 3s to drop in an hour. Then sure, you know, you might get a lot of money off that. Or maybe you get like a fixed attack 5 Sanguium weapon to drop, or you know, those insanely rare cases, then sure, you'll make a ton of money. But for the average player, you're gonna need to invest a lot of time into this, and you'll slowly build up your wealth. Okay, so with all of that out of the way, let us talk about where to farm for Dreadkeeper 3. So I personally farm at Central Retem. The reason for this is simply because with this new update, they have added 2 extra veterans into Central Retem. Central Retem originally only had 3 veterans, but then they added Rennis Retem, or the worm, up here. And then after that, because of this event, they've added 2 more veterans, which means there's a total of 6 veterans in Central Retem. And because there's 6 veterans in Central Retem, you can literally just stay in a single block and just rotate between all 6 of them indefinitely. And it's super efficient because you're just killing veterans back to back to back to back to back. It's really efficient. But on top of that, Central Retem also drops Deftness 3s. So you're killing 2 birds with 1 stone. You remember, Deftness was worth a lot of money. So you're farming for Deftness 3s, you're farming for Dreadkeeper 3s. However, you're not only hunting for Dreadkeeper 3s, because Dreadkeeper 2 is still a good capsule, which also sells for a decent amount of money. You can see here that the average price of these capsules are going for like 44,000, which is actually really nice, and it goes up in price pretty significantly. I believe they were going for like 70,000 this morning, which is actually bonkers. So even if you're only getting Dreadkeeper 2s and you're not getting Dreadkeeper 3s, it is still good money. Alright, so now you're in Central Retem, so where are these veterans? Well, the first one you're going to farm for is obviously the giant worm, Rennis Retem. They are located in F4 on your grid. In order to open up your map, if you are a mouse and keyboard, is you press the N key when you're in the map, and it opens up this mini map right here with the grids, so you can see all the letters on the top row and all the numbers on the left side. And that's how you know where the bosses are. So for example, Rennis Retem is in F4, so it's in that square where I'm standing right now. It's somewhere in that square. All right, so Rennis Retem is in F4, the doggo is in F5, the LD scythe is in E6, the Fortis launcher is on D5, the squid thing as well as Kelkundo, which is the bouncer thing, they are both on E4. So you're literally just going to go into these squares. You're going to rotate in a giant circle or square, depending on how you see it. So you're going to start at the worm, then to the doggo, then to the scythe, then the launcher, then the squid thing, then the bouncer, and then back to the worm. So you're literally killing these 6 bosses over and over and over again. Now some of you guys may be saying, Carol, I can't do this alone. I need a team. It's a veteran. It's kicking my butt. So how do we find a party? You're simply just going to go to your Ryuker device, and you're going to go to room transfer, and you're going to tick rooms in same sector only, and you're literally just going to look for the one with the most amount of people. So you can see here that this one has 6 people over here, and you're just going to join the room with the most amount of people. And then you're just going to type in all chat, is anyone doing veteran hunt? And there's bound to be people that will say, yes, I am, no, I'm not, whatever. And just stick with one room and just farm vets to the best of your ability. And if you see any new players joining, because you can see the current number of players in your room on the top left corner of your screen, just type out the location of where you are and what veteran you're fighting. And most people are actually going to come over and help you out, because they also want to kill the veteran. And as you snowball more and more people, you're naturally going to get more people, because more and more people will join the room thinking, yo, there's a lot of people here. They're either killing at Gigantics or veteran hunting. And boom, you've created your own room with a bunch of people that want to veteran hunt, and you just start your train. You just start at the worm, then to the doggo, LD scythe, blah blah blah, and you literally just go in this gigantic circle killing all of these veterans. And since there's 6 of them, unless you're like stupidly geared, usually they will spawn by the time you get to them. Okay, now the last question, and probably the most important question, is Kero, I'm a free-to-play player. How should I handle my shop passes? You know, when should I use my shop pass and when should I hold on to them? You need to read the market. You need to look at the market, and what we have to do as free-to-play players is we need to hoard up items. We need to farm a ton of items, and when we need cash, for example, when there's a new scratch, or when you foresee a new scratch or a new item coming out in the future that you want to prepare for, then you just find the most opportune time for yourself to sell all of your goods. So in my case, I've been hoarding up a ton of Dreadkeeper 3s simply because I know that the price is really good right now. However, I took a gamble and I predicted this would happen when the Dark Falls Urgent Quest dropped, because I was like, yo, I'm gonna be upgrading my armors, I'm gonna be spending a lot of materials, a lot of Meseta, gearing myself up. So because I know that I'm gearing my own gear up, I'm going to assume that there are other players that are going to do the same. So once I finished gearing up, I was like, okay, I rushed through everything. I played a lot. I invested a ton. So I'm going to assume that other people are going to play at their own pace, but they're also going to need to get their Dreadkeeper 3s. They're also going to need to get their Alt Secreta 3s. They're going to need to get their Def Mites. They have to get all of these different capsules, which I had to farm for before. So I can safely assume that, hey, I should probably farm a crap ton of these capsules because I know the prices are going to go up as more and more people want to upgrade their gear. And so I took a gamble. I just farmed my brains out. I got a ton of Dreadkeeper 3s, and then when I pop my 3-day shop pass, boom, I get 30 million in one day. And that is how I made a lot of my money, was simply I just farmed. When I needed money or when I saw an opportunity to sell, I pop my 3-day shop pass, I throw everything onto the market, the kitchen sink included, and I just make a killing. But my rule of thumb is I always keep a 3-day shop pass as a reserve, as an emergency in case anything crazy happens. Let's say I get a relic fix of 5 to drop, or I get a Sanquian weapon with a fix of 5 to drop. Those are those insanity moments where it's like, oh my god, I can't believe I got it, but I want to sell it because I want to make a killing. Then I will use that emergency shop pass. So in conclusion, look at the market, see what is high in demand, and identify, hey, can I farm those items or not? Or do I enjoy farming those items or not? And find the one that you enjoy farming and you get naturally, and then just farm a crap ton of that, hoard it up, and once you're ready, pop your 3-day shop pass and throw it all onto the market. Now, of course, if you're a premium member, well, life is even easier for you. You could literally just free flow and keep throwing the items onto the market whenever you have stock and just make money that way, and you don't need to worry about shop passes and access to the market and all that jazz. Special thanks to all the members for supporting the channel. It really means a lot to me. Thank you again. But yeah, that's all I wanted to cover in today's video. Hopefully you guys found it helpful. If you did, I would appreciate a like and a subscribe, and I'll see you guys in tomorrow's video. Bye.
What can I say except you're welcome for the heals, the boosts, the rest.